You want to be a young boss, but your sales are stuck. You're burned out trying to find the right people, and you end up doing all of the work yourself. You're bleeding money, and you're fighting to keep your business afloat. I've been there. I'm Isabel Guarino, and I've scaled businesses to millions, and I've watched ideas burn to the ground. And I know exactly what it takes to survive and win. This is Young Boss, the podcast that helps you break through the barriers standing between you and the business you deserve, where youth is your power. What happens when a 21-year-old with a storage unit full of gym equipment bets everything on himself and wins? Today, we're talking to Tanner Allen, the founder of Journey, a fitness business that survived recessions, pandemic shutdowns, and the roller coaster of client expectations. From sitting in a private plane hangar pitching investors to scaling a team, losing clients to save his sanity, and learning you can't tie your self-worth to your revenue, Tanner shares the real story behind building a gym that trains everyone from pro athletes to 90-year-olds. If you've ever wondered how to grow a business you love without burning out, this episode is going to hit home. Welcome to the show, Tanner.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. We have known each other forever. And I feel like as long as I've known you, you've been into sports and fitness and you've turned it into a full-blown business. So tell me about Journey. What is going on? What is the business?
Oh, Journey. What a journey it's been. Seriously. We've been in business for a little over 10 years, officially owning the business.
Wow.
And I was just training and loved fitness, loved sports, like you said. And we serve an amazing group of people from all walks of life.
Okay.
We do personal training, group training, work with young athletes. We've worked with 6-year-olds all the way up to 93-year-olds.
Oh my goodness.
People with brain issues and stroke patients, all the way down to former professional athletes and professional athletes. So yeah, it's been a wild ride of serving the Tempe community, greater East Valley community, but it's all very personal. Everything's coach-led. No one's in there just doing their own thing. Everyone's getting helped and served by a coach. So yeah, it's a very at-home, family, intimate feel.
I love it. I have trained at your gym before and I can attest to that. I do feel like it's a community. And I think a lot of gyms promote themselves that way and then they are not that way. Yep. You guys genuinely are a community and a very welcoming community because I think gyms can create cliques and, different like groups of people where you don't always feel welcome. And I don't think that was the energy at all. So you should be proud of what you've created, especially with the range of clientele. So do you have a favorite client who comes in? Do you have a favorite category?
That's a good question. I've gone back and forth. There's like the young, fit, capable bodied people who are really fun to work with, but sometimes there's attitudes with that.
Okay.
A little bit of ego. I would say the character that matters most is just hardworking and resilient and consistent. Yeah. Someone who's going to submit to the coaching authority and say, hey, I trust you. I trust the plan. I trust what you're offering. They believe in you as a coach and they're willing to buy in completely. Yeah. And so that quality is probably more important than like who. Yep. I've had professional athletes who just a little bit arrogant and frustrate me. And then I've had 65-year-old clients who've been amazing and they're so fun and they just do everything you ask and they get great results and they're happy. So
I would assume that there is actually a lot of disappointment in your industry because people come in the door and you are like sold on them. Like you're like, I can see the transformation already. Just follow the plan. Like we can do this together. You're committed. They're acting committed. And within a certain amount of time, you realize, they are not. And they're just going to be someone who comes here and either lies to me about what they're doing at home or half-asses it here or whatever. How do you deal with that disappointment?
I literally just dealt with that a lot yesterday. It's like I'm tired. The bags are in my eyes. Just the ups and downs of being passionate and loving what you do and caring deeply for people and wanting people to get the results that they said they wanted initially. Every client starts with a consult. We process through, hey, what do you want? Where have you been? What's the baggage? What are the holdups? What stopped you from getting those results? And so we vet them out really well now and we walk and crawl very slowly through that process. And then we start running and, sprinting later. But people say one thing and do another. And so it's hard. The coach can't want it more than the player, right? And this goes for sports analogies as well. Like we just facilitate the resources and the opportunity. And this is someone else's life. You know, this is your body. This is your health. And if you don't want it, I can't force you. I can encourage you. I can give you all the resources. I can write blogs and send you articles and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so I used to lose a lot of sleep over that, honestly. I think the hardest part initially is like you care so deeply about people's results, and it's your reputation. You know, so I'm like living and dying on, if this new client doesn't get results, then that's a reflection of my reputation. And at the end of the day, that was so stressful. And I think it's probably one of my biggest learning curves is like, I cannot control other people. And I can give them the best coaching advice ever. I can write meal plans. I can write great programs, but they have to show up and they have to go to bed and manage their stress and eat well. And so, yeah, I think that's an immediate encouragement to young entrepreneurs and people is, you cannot control your customers. You give them the best, excellent work that you can give them, and it's up to them. If they want it, they'll go after it. They'll take advantage of it, and they'll buy in. But yeah, that's a hard learning curve. It takes years.
And I'm sure it's something you still struggle with and till the end of time, because in any business where you have clients who you are really kind of almost the product and the service, and it's like you are helping them, like you said, it's your reputation. So it is like almost an ego hit, because it's like you do want it so badly for them, and they also do you up on themselves saying like, I can do this and I commit to this, and then they fail themselves, but in turn they fail you. And I think sometimes they don't think about how they're also failing you, you know? So
they're walking billboards, like clients who go to gyms and work with service professionals. It's like, hey, your physique, your body is a walking billboard
for me,
someone else's work, you know? And it's like, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing at times, right? And so, yeah, you kind of dance between sometimes being frustrated and embarrassed with people who just spin their wheels and just do not make the progress that you would like them, and you know that they want it, right? Like people come to a coach because they have problems, they need help, and they're looking for solutions, and then the coach offers that, and that person doesn't, they're not really ready. And so sometimes people just spin their wheels, and I think I've learned over the years that it's okay. Just let those people go. Yeah. You know, it's better to let them go than to fight and create more friction. And then sometimes people come back, which is amazing. You know, they're actually in a place where they're ready emotionally, spiritually, physically to change. Work schedules change, family changes, financial situations change. And then they're in a healthy spot and it's like, cool, let's do this now.
I could see that turnaround. Let's talk a little bit about the business. So how did you, when you first got started, how did you find the building? Because you guys have now been there for 10 years. Wow.
Well, longer actually. So I started training in the same facility while I was in college. So while I was finishing up my degree at ASU, I actually wanted to be a physical therapist. And so I was dead set on physical therapy. I'd done 500-ish hours of outpatient clinical experience, working in clinics, you know, going through kind of the GRE process. Didn't quite get there, but I'm, you know, about to take the GRE and do all the testing and start applying to schools. And I pulled the plug because I stumbled into personal training part-time just as a gig to do while I was finishing college. And I fell in love with it. And everyone was hurt. Everyone had a shoulder problem, a back problem, a knee issue. They're like, oh, back in high school, you know, I hurt my knee. And so quickly I realized like, oh, I'm not exactly working with this really young, healthy, fit population. People who can afford training are middle-aged, you know, kind of 40s, 50s, 60s. And they have some joint issues. And so I was problem solving and figuring that out. So
using some of the skills you just learned.
Exactly. Yeah. Like a bent on therapy, a really, really high level knowledge without being a physical therapist. You know, that's not my lane, but I learned a lot and it was very valuable. And so I started training. And then I started renting space at the current facility from a different owner. And so I did that for several years. And then when I graduated, I was renting space there alongside 10 other trainers, and we were all just kind of bumping shoulders doing our thing. And I was getting busy, and the owner said, hey, you got to like go find your own spot. It's crazy in here. You have a lot of clients. So then I started buying equipment. I have 4 storage units filled with equipment to the ceiling. And I'm building a business plan. I'm working on looking at leases, contacting brokers. We just could not find a spot. And everything was just like roadblock after roadblock. And so years went by. You know, the owner was very gracious to me. And one day out of the blue, he said, hey, I'm going to sell the business. Do you want to buy me out? And so we just a beautiful gift was gifted to us in all the equipment, a great location that we loved.
But you had equipment sitting in storage?
Yeah.
So did you just sell it all?
I sold a lot of it, and then I added and kind of swapped out some of the older equipment for newer stuff. So,
oh my gosh.
But literally we signed the lease and I showed up the same day. I'm like, this place is mine now.
Oh, that's so
Which
exciting.
is really cool because it's an interesting transition of like renting and not being on the hook for everything that breaks and air conditioning and, you know, water heaters and the flooring and all the stuff that goes haywire in a business. It's like, I had it kind of easy, you know, back then. So I look back at that and I'm like, oh, that was cake. And I thought it was hard, but it got a little bit more complicated, a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But we were super fortunate to buy out the previous owner.
Okay.
And then we took over. There was a lot of renting trainers at the time. So our business model kind of stayed as
you let them stay
renting because we needed that. Our business hadn't grown to the point where we could just afford to, you know, kick everyone out and say it's just us. So we kept on trainers. We were bumping shoulders. You know, you get a lot of alpha, big macho trainers in the room, and
they want their space.
Yeah,
They're
they want
paying
space.
for
I
it.
want
They've got
space,
entitlement. Yeah. Okay.
So that was challenging, but a necessary step for us to grow and evolve. And so my prayer over the years was like, Lord, help us get more clients and help us grow so that we don't need these coaches. My vision, and I was very honest with those coaches up front. I said, you know, I want my own team. I want journey training employees. I want my own staff.
Would you have been willing to let them join your team?
I think it just didn't work out because we had differences in philosophy and, you know, beliefs and how our values are a little bit different. And so clients of mine actually became coaches. So my very first few employees were clients of many, many years. And so it was kind of a cool organic process of taking clients who had worked with us for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. They had a passion for fitness. They got great results over years. And I saw qualities in them that was like, ooh, you'd be a great coach. Like, let's pluck them out and put them in the right positions to take on clients and give me a little bit of freedom to have a life. You know?
Okay, let's go back. How did you fund this? Because you bought all these machines. Machines are expensive. Yeah. You're paying for storage. And then you took over this lease. And obviously there's a lot of overhead when you now own this building or you're leasing this building. How did you fund it?
So we really wanted to avoid going through the bank.
Yeah.
And so we were looking at private investors. We had, and I'm so glad I didn't do this, we had a couple clients who were willing to invest. Oh. And they fell through at the very last minute. Both of them. And I'm thankful that we didn't, because that would have created a little bit of a interesting dynamic, you know, when you're training someone and they kind of fronted the capital. Yeah. But we ended up going with the founder of my dad's company. That my dad worked for a construction company for almost 40 years. Okay. So we knew him. I didn't know him very well. Yeah. But it was my last ditch effort. I was like, I'm going to send an email to this guy. Yeah. And just see what happens. So I sent an email. I mean, he's very, very successful, like hundreds of millions of dollars successful. Yeah. You know, sold the company for like 400 million. Okay. And has his hands in all sorts of startups and all that. So I'm just this young 21-year-old, you know, I walk in and I'm nervous as heck and I'm sitting in his plane hangar. He has a G6 or whatever, like a private jet, a private helicopter through this glass window. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, who am I? I felt like this imposter, you know, like, what am I doing here? I'm not fit for this. Yep. Handed him my business plan. He had some strong critiques of it. Okay. He said, hey, go fix this, come back. Oh. So few weeks later, I fixed everything. I sought counsel, had some mentors helping me, came back, handed him the business plan. And he said, I love it. Let's do it. I'll write you a check. I'll wire money today. And so I just got in my truck. I drive home like, yes, we got money. We have money. It was amazing. You know, like, you know, on cloud nine, just like crazy. Like this guy said yes to me and he took a risk and took a chance on us.
What a cool story. And to think that like, it's not like, oh, it was your dad's bestie. It was literally no,
not at all.
Just someone you kind of knew through someone, a professional relationship, but taking that chance to say like, hey, I'm going to go out there and do this, and dealing with the imposter syndrome along the way. Like, he might not believe in me. And what if this isn't something he doesn't, you know, want to invest in? And that's amazing. I love it. Okay. So he kind of helped you in that financial sense. You now own the building. how do you get to the place where you are now hiring staff? Because I know that, a hardship, I think, in owning a gym is they're committed to you. Yeah. They all want to work with Tanner, right? And so how do you get people coming on board who you're saying, okay, great, you're part of this Journey family, and you're going to work with Joe Schmo? And they're like, what? I bought into you. Has that been a struggle over the years, or how have you worked through that?
Yeah, I know there's like definitive moments that I can recall where I was like, okay, I'm going to not coach every class and I'm going to take one step closer towards family. I mean, I have 3 daughters, 7.5, 4.5, and 2.5. And so over the years,
you can't be at the gym all day.
I'm married, I have kids. And I remember having a little bit of conflict with clients, and it felt like so unfair that the clients wanted me to get up at 4 a.m., 4:30, come train them. But also the 7 p.m. clients wanted me to work with them. I'm like, that's an insanely long day. I can't be here all day. I need a life, I need to go out to dinner with my wife and take her on a date, and I want a vacation. And so we made hard boundaries, and we made a step to hire our first coach. She was great, stuck with us for many, many years, offered us freedom, the ability to go on vacations. But there's that tension of like, people are starting to sense that I'm drifting a little bit away from all the coaching inputs, being their specific coach at certain class times. And so we lost business. You lose people. They're just no longer a good fit for us. And so you lose a handful of people who are discontent with that decision. But it's the right move. As an entrepreneur, you need to have a life. No one goes into business to marry their job and work 16-hour days and have no life and have no friendship. Your marriage is going to suffer, your relationships, you're not going to be fulfilled, right? You're building something that might be impressive, but it comes at a cost. And so, we just made that jump. We set hard boundaries with people, and some of those people walked away. And that's okay. Some people were very gracious, a lot of them, and they understood, and they said, hey, we love you. We love supporting your business. We love your family. We're with you. And so, and then that happened slowly over time. My recommendation would be do that gradually if possible. If you go from doing everything to a hard cut and you're out, I think it could be catastrophic potentially. So especially in people businesses, service-based industries, like, you are representing the brand. And so as I slowly removed myself from that, it became more about Journey and what we value at Journey and less about Tanner. I remember someone called me and they said, hey, is this Journey training? And I'm like, I'm Tanner. I'm not Journey. I'm Tanner. And it was just funny, like, people DMing me on Instagram, like, hey, Journey training. I'm like, you're Instagramming like my personal account. I'm not Journey training. I'm more than this gym. Like, I'm way more than that. And so it's just funny that association when someone's really tied to you in your brand, but it's like, we're far more than our work.
Hey, it's Isabel from Young Boss, and if you are struggling in your business and want to talk to a consultant who's been there, done that, listen, I'm your girl. I've got consultations available right here in the show notes or on our website at theyoungbosspodcast.com. Go check it out and schedule a call so we can connect on how to improve your business, enhance your team, even scale. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here to help you with it. Go schedule, and I look forward to talking to you. Now, back to the show. I think it's really interesting that you're saying like, hey, we lost people, but I also think that if you didn't make that move, then you wouldn't have been able to grow the business. So in turn, you lost people to gain people because now you have multiple people who can take on clients at the same time of day or, whatever. But if you did not make that move, I think that's where a lot of gym owners get stuck is that it becomes a 24/7 gig. They can't get out of the cycle, and they literally can't see the light at the end of the tunnel of I'm going to have to go down to go up. But if I do not just take this fall for 2 seconds, I'm never going to get out of this. And it becomes a lifestyle thing. So I'm really proud of you for doing that because it's difficult. It's difficult. So how many coaches do you have now?
Currently we have 3. Okay. And so outside of me, so 4 including me. We've had more over the seasons, just filling in different roles. Right now we've kind of consolidated, and I'm trying to get those coaches full time. So instead of having a lot of coaches and very part-time, the goal is to have some really, really busy, full-time, like let's make this a salary. Let's give them a life. One of my coaches is married. He just had his first daughter. And we've had great discussions about, man, I want to bless his family. I want to provide the ability to live on this income alone and not do other things and not have this be kind of a side hustle, and allow him and his wife to have more kids. And they say, this works for us.
Yeah. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about the economy and how that affects the gym business, because I assume that during tough times, people start to look at their budget and say, well, there's certain things I need to cut, right? And I think that extra beauty things go out the window, extra vacations. Personal training may be one of those things that people say, we've got to nix this from the budget. Do you find that during tougher economic times, people quit?
It's weird because I thought COVID was so hard and we survived. We hung on for dear life during COVID. Our gym was shut down. We went digital. We did all sorts of crazy things and our clients were amazing. And then we saw this explosive growth after COVID because people were so eager to get back out into society and just do things that we kind of went, and it was awesome. And then we leveled out and we kind of had our new normal of this is our memberships and here's where we're at with people. But then in the last few years with inflation, it was so much harder than COVID. I mean, COVID was I felt like I got knocked out, but I recovered very quickly. Yeah. This slow bleed of inflation and having just email after email and, getting off the phone with someone saying, hey, I'm getting crushed. Yep. I just lost my job and I can no longer afford this. And they have, they're on contract. Yeah. And they signed a contract with us. And it's what are you going to do? Yep. I'm not going to hold someone to that when they lost their job. It's but my family and I, we eat that, and so honestly, the last few years, that's been probably the biggest challenge in terms of, just having tough conversations with people who've lost jobs and feeling squeezed. And training is a luxury. You can do push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges at home, but paying hundreds or thousands of dollars a month to a personal trainer is a royalty. It's a luxury that we've found the niche of clients that it works for. Yeah. But things change in a hurry and you feel that.
How do you guys pivot during times like that? Obviously with COVID, you guys had to do some pivoting. And then now I totally agree with everything you're saying. And so many people listening will too, that COVID was almost easier than what we're experiencing right now as business owners, because that was such a sharp decline and then a sharp incline versus this is that
just a slow bleed.
And you just wonder, when is this going to end? When is it going to end? How bad is it going to get? How slow is this going to happen? What do we do during a time like this? So I think that always successful people make decisions quickly, and the faster you can pivot and kind of figure out, what can I do to stop the bleed? What have you guys been doing, over the course of the year to look at what does that pivot maybe look like?
Yep. So last October, we hired a consulting mentor, gym mentorship company called Two Brain Business. So shout out to Two Brain. They're amazing. And I think I got to a point, fork in the road where I realized I need help. Yeah. I'm good with people. I'm great at sales. I close 9.5 out of 10 people that walk through the door. We just don't have enough people walking through the door. And overall, our retention is much higher than the gym industry average. Yeah. And so we're keeping people long enough. We're just not getting enough new people. So marketing issues, all sorts of things that I just felt like this is not what I'm trained in. Yep. I didn't go to school for this. I need help. I need systems in place where when I start retreating and I start delegating more responsibilities, it feels like, oh, shoot, there's fires everywhere. And now I need to get my hands back in it. And so we hired Two Brain. Okay. And Two Brain just did a full audit, financial, relational, systems. Yeah. So I'm writing SOPs for the first time ever, which I don't love, but you got to do it, right? This is the evolution of an entrepreneur, of a business owner is my job is to scale the business, to grow the business, not to coach people forever. Yep. My skill set is great enough and has evolved enough to a point where that's my number one job is I have a team of people. I have a team of coaches that can do administrative tasks and they can do other things that I don't need to be doing all the time. And so that's one of the solutions that we found was absolutely lacking. Was I'm doing tasks in the business that I'm not above. I'll clean toilets, I'll mop the floor. I'm not above anything, right? I've done a lot of hard jobs in my life. I've been on roofs in Arizona. I've cleaned toilets. I'm not above anything. It's just, is that the best use of my time as the owner? Yep. And can I find someone else, pay them for that so that frees me up to do more of the high value CEO type tasks? And so I was in this vicious circle or cycle of doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have done and wearing too many hats at the same time. And so the solution is to delegate
Yep.
and to do the things that will make your business the most money and that you're best at. If you're not great at marketing, you've got to pay someone to do it and take the leap of faith, right? Or trade off or barter, do something. If you're really terrible at administrative tasks, pay someone, use AI, do something that can get that job done instead of scratching your head and waiting and putting that off, all the while being frustrated with the lack of growth and lack of progress.
It is so true. We talk about it all the time. Like, hey, whatever, is not your skill set, you have to delegate it because you're just going to waste more time and energy when you are like, well, I have to be the one who does it all. So I love that you are saying like, hey, I understand and I need to pass it. And I think that is how you can pivot. So when it comes to marketing, a gym business, how important is social media? Do you guys use social media a lot? Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the lane that I feel most comfortable in, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a lot, like I've entertained the thought of podcasting and all that. So this is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do that. I don't know where to start, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it feels overwhelming, the time commitment. I'm like, I can make Instagram posts.
Yeah.
I can use Canva to create graphics. And I've learned the basics, right?
Okay.
And it's just to learn the basics, do what you're good at least to the extent of it, and just be consistent, right? So social media, Facebook, Instagram is kind of where we land. Haven't gone down TikTok. I think the encouragement or the learning curve for me was like, do one thing really well, then try 5 things and do them terribly, right? So Instagram, Facebook, they're connected, right? I can auto share on both easily. And that's where we live right now.
Okay.
And referrals, using a little bit of ads and stuff to, get campaigns out there when we want to push certain programs or things like that. But I would say we're very simple, but I think it's working enough. There's obviously room for improvement, or we could ramp that up with more capital and say, hey, we want to spend, thousands of dollars on marketing, but we'll get there in time.
Do you guys dabble with online coaching?
I've done it personally. We haven't systemized. That's my next SOP. Is like writing out how would this work well for another coach to do it.
Okay.
Where would our price point be? What would our margins be on that? Because it's a little different. Lots of content and curriculum that we're going to pass off to clients. I think we're just trying to land the plane and get the other stuff figured out and say, hey, we've mastered all this. And then let's go and break into a new avenue of potential revenue, which online training is huge.
It's so not the same. I have done a million online programs and I've worked with trainers over the years, and trainers are just the best when you're in person with somebody. And to me, it's like you build such a friendship with them. Like you're actually like talking to them and getting to know them. They're getting to know you. And it becomes like one of your best friends when you are, because you're with them every day and you're sharing really vulnerable things with them. And you're having these honest conversations that you're probably not having with a lot of other people in your life about weaknesses, strengths, like where you're struggling. And I think that there's no substitute for in-person training. I'm such a stan for that. But I do think with the economy looking the way it's looking, it's like that is obviously a huge pivot. You get people who say, hey, I can't afford this. Okay, great. Well, that can be a downsell, and it can also be an upsell. You can be attracting new people and kind of bring them in to then say, let's take this to the next level. You need to come in person, It also expands you outside of Arizona because you technically could do people anywhere, right? But it is so tough because it's just not the same. Like I love your product and brand, and I love in-person coaching, and I think that's amazing. And something that you guys do as well is group coaching, which I think is really fun. And I think that a lot of people want that because maybe they're intimidated by the one-on-one approach, but being in a group, they feel a little bit more comfortable with. Do you find that?
Yeah, it's just a matter of temperament, right? There's a obvious huge price point difference, right? From one-on-ones, you're paying for a dedicated hour for exactly what you want as the client. This is what I need. This is what I'm going to get written out for me. Some people just don't like people. So they're just like, I don't want to be around other people. There's too much noise all day. And so, the one-on-ones are appropriate for them. But I would say kind of the culture and the heartbeat of our gym is group dynamics. And so you just get this community, community is loosely used. I would say I don't know, sometimes I feel like we shouldn't use that word, but like intimate, right? Like there's just like you're known and you know other people, right? And so when you show up to a group class and you're like, I know all of these people here and they would call me out if I was sandbagging. And if I see someone else lifting hard and pushing them, I'm going to work harder because of them, right? Where you miss that when you're alone. It's just your coach speaking into that.
Yes.
And so people know when you're getting after it and you're making progress, right? There's camaraderie in that and there's mutual suffering. Yeah. Most people would never write certain workouts that we would write and do in a group environment. Like, I would never go to the gym and do this on my own. And that's what they're paying for. Yeah. Right. They're paying for a little bit of suffering, right? That's appropriate and contextually, professional and keeps you healthy and strong. We're not trying to hurt people, but I mean, you're going to do a lot of things in a group class that you would never choose to do on your own. Which is fun.
Yes, it absolutely is. As a business owner, what do you think has been one of the hardest parts of running a business?
I would say just feeling like I'm so passionate and I care so much and I want this to work out and I want people to get the results that they initially sat down and discussed. Yeah. And then seeing kind of the disappointment or the unmet expectations on both sides. Yep. Clients feel that. That's why they leave. Yep. They don't feel like what they were paying for was worth it. Yep. And it might be entirely their fault. It might be part our fault or all our fault. A coach might have said something, a member might have said something that just didn't sit right with them. And they're like, I don't like this place anymore. Right. But the unmet expectations of, man, if everyone were to stick with us throughout the years, I mean, we would have 5 gyms, right? Yep. Thinking about like the hundreds and thousands of people that we've helped. I'm like, if we had all of those members still, it would be insane, right? Yeah. But people do come and go. And so there's this expectation that is often, not what we talked about back then. And I would just say the ups and downs maybe of income, certain seasons, we just have peak seasons of high revenue. And then certain you're like, this is just inevitably a tough season. Yeah. And so Two Brain's been really helpful for that. Is like, we have to find ways to creatively not accept that November and December are slow and January, February, spring, summers are busy. Right. And then we kind of taper off at the end of the year and that's just our slow season and we accept that. Yeah. Like, no, do not accept that. Yeah. Find a program, find a solution to the problem. People overeat in the holidays. Yep. It's colder. So we're, bundled up and we're wearing clothing that hides us. And then what happens? The weather warms up. You start to wear tank tops and bathing suits and you're insecure and you feel frustrated. And you're like, dang, I got to fix this. Yep. And what do? They go spend the money. They start eating better. They invest in the coaches. And so I think this year is probably the first year we're doing strategic programs and things that would help buffer that drop in revenue where we don't just accept it as a slow season. Yeah. And so if we can just level out revenue and say, this is what we're expecting each month. Yeah. Man, what a game changer.
That'd be huge.
And I think every entrepreneur is trying to do that. Yeah. It's just clients and people come and go and, things are a little bit out of your control. Yeah. Versus the person who says, hey, I get paid $100,000 and I just show up 9 to 5 and nothing changes. There's stability and comfort in that, but a lot of people are discontent. So
for sure.
Worth the risk.
Yeah. So on that note, what has been your favorite part about being an entrepreneur or business owner?
Oh, just the freedom of time. Yeah. My kids run in and they hug me in the middle of sessions and they get to be there. They get to see me work. And it's like, bring your kid to work whenever, right? Because their clients are cool. They're family people. They value the same things as us. And so they support us. There's that element. There is no HR. Obviously the clients dictate the needs. And so we're very in tune with what our clients need, what are people chattering about, where do we need to grow and improve. And so that's good in a lot of ways. I kind of like the responsibility of, if things are good, it's my fault. Yeah. And if things are bad, it's my fault too. Yeah. Right. I don't get to blame anyone else. Yeah. Right. I don't get to sit there and point the finger at clients. If clients unanimously feel a way, it's my fault. I'm the leader. I'm the captain of the ship. Yep. And so I have to change it. Yep. I have to find solutions to things. And I would say getting married was, a growth step because I became more compassionate and more tender. I mean, I was this abrasive former athlete coming from a house full of brothers, right? And I would make people cry. A lot of women cried in my gym, unfortunately, because I was just intense. Yeah. I was intense. It was like, let's get this done. And if you don't, get out. Yeah. And I probably ran a lot of people out the gym because of that intensity. And then I became a husband and then a father of all girls. And we still have clients who've been with us for 10 plus years. And they're like, you are such a better coach because of that.
Aww.
And so I think seeing how family has impacted my coaching and how being a husband and learning how to be more gentle and patient with people and not be so aggressive has helped me. But like family is a big part of that, right? And so being able to be around my family and see my family at the gym like regularly throughout the week is a huge blessing that I don't, take for granted.
Yeah. I think first of all, even just you saying that is so many gym owners listening are probably like, I don't have that freedom, right? Like I've built this business and it's a cage. It's a golden cage, right? But it's a cage nonetheless. And so you being able to be at that phase in your business is huge. And it's a testament to systems and growth and building and taking risks. But I also think what you said on the other half of it, we just talked in another episode about being an entrepreneur is like holding a mirror up to all of your weaknesses and all of the terrible parts about you that you think has nothing to do with business, right? Like how is this going to show up? And it shows up and it will like slap you in the face if you don't address it. And sometimes it will be your downfall in business. So I think it's kind of beautiful that you just reiterated that, basically saying like these things about myself as a person, right? I didn't even realize they're maybe impacting my business until I'm on the other side of it, seeing the emotional growth. I think that being an entrepreneur actually forces a lot of emotional growth that that's not why you signed up to do this,
right?
But you got it,
Yeah.
Any young bosses listening, they're just starting in business. They're not sure, what those first steps are or if they can do it. What would your, advice be to them?
I would find a mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to pay a consultant, right?
Yeah.
Before I partnered with Two Brain, we had family friends who sold businesses and ran, really successful companies. And so I just said, hey, can I take you out to lunch, and pick your brain and ask them really deep questions about life and business and managing, clients and coaches or a team of people. And so just learn from other people who've been there, done that. I think there's a lot of really successful people who care deeply about other business owners and want to see them win. Yeah. And so you'd be surprised at how many people in your local area would be willing to sit down for free because they want to give back. They want to support other local businesses. And they were that person years ago. Yep. And so they're, doing the full circle kind of going, I remember when I was first starting, and I would love to do that in the future for someone else, not just my team, but someone saying, hey, is this worth the risk? Like what would you do differently? And just pour out all my personal experience, they can take what they want, but find a mentor. I have a great support of people who speak into my life and my wife and other business folks and just close friends who know me. Yeah. And if I start to drift a little bit outside of my normal character, they're quick to kind of reel me back in. Yeah. And so I would say outside of a mentor is just have people that know you, that can speak into your life and keep you on track, because it's easy to get derailed and go sideways. Yeah. There's a lot of discouragement. There's a lot of mental games that you play as an owner. It's like, oh, this is making me mad, or this is going well. And so you're riding this roller coaster of emotions constantly as an entrepreneur, and your self-worth and the worth of your business or the affirmations that you receive from business is good can be really exhilarating. And then on the flip side, when it sucks and you're just in the pits, that can be a hard season, So if you don't have support, if you don't have people speaking in your life, man, that's a lonely road, And so I think we all just need support. I love that. And I think I just recently read a book that basically said you cannot tie your self-worth to your business's success, because you will go down a really dark hole really fast because of things exactly like you just said. There's going to be days that are good and bad. And yes, it's your responsibility, but it doesn't mean you're a bad person. You are a failure, all these things. And I think it is really hard, because when you've built something, it is your baby and it's you in a building, in a business, in a product, in a whatever it is. And so to see it, fail, it's really hard, because it's a mental game. It's tough. And to go at it alone is like the worst thing that I think anybody could do. And I love that you said, hey, it doesn't always have to be a paid consultant too. Yeah. There are so many people who are willing to help, and especially help
young business owners, because just like you said, they see, if I had someone, I want to give back. I wish someone told me these things. So just going out and asking for that help, a lot of times, like, you will get it back, So, and if you didn't, just keep asking, right?
Yep.
Like the next person might give it to you. You never know. Amazing. Well, I'm so grateful you were on the show. If anybody wants to find out more about your business, come do a training session with you, where do they find out more about Journey Training?
We're on Instagram. They can find just at Journey Training.
Okay.
They can message us, ourjourneytraining.com.
Okay.
Website. We do free consults, so they can just book a consult.
Awesome.
Come sit, chat with us.
Yep.
Where are you at in life? What do you need? How can we help best?
Yep.
Yeah, those are probably the two best.
Okay, cool. Well, go check out Tanner and Journey Training. It's an amazing facility. And I haven't met any of your other coaches, but I'll have to come by and come check it out. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss with your host, Isabel Garino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, your youth is your power.